Okay, everybody, Halo Season 2 has now wrapped up, and now it's time to give my thoughts on the overall season of Halo Season 2. So let's dive right into this thing. Please do me a favor. I don't care if you subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it if you guys subscribe. It would definitely make my numbers look better and eventually, reach my goal of doing as good as my counterparts on this platform. But more importantly than subscribe, I'd rather you guys hit the like button. That is way more important. So let's get into Season 2 of Halo on Paramount Plus. Now, I was not a big fan of the first season at all. I am a massive Halo fan. You see this, guys? You see this right here? What is that? I am branded with Halo, okay? I live Halo. I love Halo. Halo is in my top 5 video game franchises of all time. Right up there with Final Fantasy, Metal Gear, Resident Evil, Uncharted. Like, it's right up there with some of my favorite video game franchises of all time. So when we got the Halo TV series, I was like, all right, let's check this thing out. Now, there was 2 live action movies prior to the Halo series, which was the Forward Unto Dawn movie, which was made for Xbox, which then got a Blu-ray release, and then the Nightfall movie. I thought both movies, although low budget, was really good, and they did a very good job establishing the world. So I thought, well, maybe the Paramount Plus show would take note and expand upon that lore. And no, they did not do it. Season 1 was not good. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but, we have Master Chief, and we call him Master Chief. They gave him a relationship. He had sex, and it was the farthest thing from Halo you could think. There was some really cool stuff in the first season, but the bad outweighed. So with Season 2, I am happy to say that they actually course corrected quite a bit in Season 2, to be honest with you, and I'm happy that they did that. One of the biggest gripes, I'm just going to get out of the way right now, one of the biggest gripes with Season 2 is, if you think Master Chief was in his armor less in Season 1, you're sadly mistaken. Master Chief was barely in his armor in Season 2. Like, maybe the first episode, for sure, the first 2 episodes, and then he went like 6 episodes not being in his armor at all, because Ackerson, who is in part of Oni and all this stuff, he took Master Chief's armor, and Master Chief wasn't in the armor again until the very last episode of the season. But that is not a negative. I want to throw that out there. That's not a negative, because going into Season 2, I told myself as a Halo fan, they're doing something different. I am down for that. We all look at Master Chief with the helmet on, but we also have to realize he's wearing the helmet because we are in action. We are playing a video game. We are supposed to think that we are the Chief. So by taking his helmet off, it kind of like breaks that immersion. We are Master Chief instead of following Master Chief. So that's something that Bungie and 343 really tried to establish with that character, and they kept that mystique through the entire video game franchise. So they did something different with the series. Obviously, we are not Master Chief. We're following Master Chief. We cannot sit here and be like, yeah, Master Chief, man, he wears his helmet all the time. He is not Mandalorian, He doesn't have the code where he has to wear the helmet. And let's be honest, if it wasn't for the fact that the Mandalorian was on a budget and they couldn't pay Pedro Pascal to take that helmet off in each and every episode, we probably wouldn't even have that. The problem is there's 3 or 4 different actors playing the Mandalorian. You have 3 or 4 stuntmen playing the Mandalorian, and then you have the voiceover of Pedro Pascal, and then every once in a while they'll pay him to come on set and he'll take his helmet off. That's the reason why the Mandalorian wears his helmet, and that's what they kind of did for a story beat. We're not doing the same thing with Halo, and that's not a negative. I just want to point that out. This season does a lot of really, really good things. The other negative about this season, despite him not being in the suit as long, because again, he's not in the suit that much. First episode, maybe last episode, last episode for sure. I think he's in the suit a couple times in between that, but for the most part, his suit was taken away by Ackerson, so he's not in the suit. The biggest flaw with this season is the same problem with Season 1, and that is following these side characters. You have these characters like Quan that you're following, and you don't really know why you're following Quan. Like Season 1, she's part of the Resurgent. If you know anything about the Halo lore, the reason why the Spartans even exist in the first place was because the outer colonies were getting into fights with the inner colonies, and it was like a galactic civil war between the outer colonies and the inner colonies. And Halsey created a Spartan program to keep the outer colonies in line, and then the Covenant attack, and then everybody kind of band together, and the Spartans were used for that. That's basic the basic Halo lore simplified for the most part. But Quan was part of the resurgence in the outer colonies. We followed her throughout the first season, but I didn't understand why we followed her so much in the second season. She's back. She's following the ex-Spartan and his wife trying to find a child. And that whole side story for me just didn't do it. Every time that was on screen, I was like kind of checked out, okay, this is my bathroom break moment. And I didn't really care about the Quan character or the ex-Spartan. The only time the ex-Spartan character was actually intriguing to me was when he actually showed up in the prison with Halsey. I'm like, oh man, he's gonna get payback for all the things she did. And they didn't do any of that. So that was sort of like a wham type moment. But what really brought this season together, besides the side quest with all these characters, and I think they do that because they want to break up the tension that's going on. The real meat and potatoes of this season is following Master Chief and what's going on Reach, because we have Ackerson where he's doing some shady crap on Reach. He knows the Covenant is on Reach, and he knows there's only a matter of time for the fall of Reach, based on one of the best-selling books as well as the Halo Reach video game. The fall of Reach was a very important part in the history of Halo because that's when the war really got serious. So they really built up the first half of the season with the Covenants on Reach. Master Chief is trying to figure out this mystery that's going on. The Spartans are kind of being portrayed as not necessarily bad guys, but Master Chief as a enemy of the government and enemy of the UNSC. Then you have Keyes, Sergeant Keyes, Major Keyes, who's basically Major Johnson and Keyes put together in one character. He starts to uncover the truth. And when we finally get to the attack on Reach, when we get to the fall on Reach, it is some of the most epic stuff you've ever gonna see on like television. Like I really it really amped it up for me. I was like, man, this is awesome. The first episode was awesome with Chief and the Covenant just battling it out. The Battle of Reach, although Chief was not in his armor, he was Master Chief, right? You get the sense of, it was almost like Daredevil from Frank Miller's Daredevil comic book, where when Matt Murdock wasn't in the suit, but the suit isn't the hero. Matt Murdock is the hero. Being in that suit doesn't make him a hero. And I think that's the story beat that they wanted to put in, was Chief was not the armor. Master Chief is the guy, and they keep establishing that when he's flipping the coin and he's talking about how he had the coin and kept calling, and it brings me back to one of the things Cortana said early on in Halo 3 when she talked about how she was able to pick any Spartan and why she chose Master Chief, because he had one thing that no one else had, and it was luck. And Master Chief he was that symbol, and I really enjoyed everything that they were telling with Master Chief, even though he wasn't in the armor. Because yes, even though he wasn't in the armor, he was still that badass leader that when he showed up, you knew things were going to be okay. You knew he was going to take care of business, and I really appreciate that. He's dealing with all these demons about trying, dealing with the what's going on Reach, dealing with Atkinson, dealing with Cortana being ripped from his mind, and he has that connection with Cortana where he wants to be back with Cortana, and that all pays off in the season finale, where we really kind of get like a big, like that the season finale is full on Halo video game. We get everything in the season finale. We get the flood. We see where they show up on a Forerunner shit, like they're in a Forerunner planet, and they go in this one bunker, and you see like a dead Forerunner, and they grab this artifact, and as soon as they grab it, like I know, like, oh man, it's gonna be the flood. They're gonna unleash the flood, and sure enough, the season finale, that's what happened. The flood gets unleashed, starts going through, wiping out humanity, and it's just absolutely insane. Master Chief is in his army. He's trying to get to Halo. He flies to a Covenant ship just to get Cortana back. The reunion between Cortana and Master Chief was absolutely beautiful. Then we have a one-on-one battle with the Chief and the Arbiter, and that was awesome. And then the final shot of season 2 is 343 Guilty Spark, which was just like an oh my god moment. So they really kind of played up the Halo-ness in this season. Yeah, it was sort of a slow burn because they were telling the story. They wanted you to feel stuff as it was going on. They wanted you to care about these characters. You see a character like Ackerson, who you absolutely hate, but you start to sympathize with later on in the season. And then, yes, I didn't like the Quan character because it just doesn't make it was just boring. Like, I feel like we're following these characters for no reason, but there are certain elements within that story that's actually touching as well. And I was like, okay, at least they're trying to pay it off as much as they can. But the real meat and potatoes is everything that's going on Reach. Everything's going on between these Spartans. We have Spartans that die. We have Spartans that quit. We have Spartans that like fight with their final breath. And the Fall of Reach is a really, really great couple episodes. I thought was fantastic. And we're dealing with the humanity of Spartans and what they've done and what has been done to them. We have Halsey, and it's a great season. You have to go into this season knowing like, okay, everything that you like about the video games is not going to be in this series, and that's fine. They're doing something different with it as long as they stay true to what Halo is. As long as they're not making Master Chief wear a tutu and run around doing ballerina or anything like that, at least they're being consistent with the characters, and they're just telling the Halo story from a different point of view. But at the end of the day, we're still getting all the stuff we like. We're getting Forerunner, like Easter eggs to Forerunners and what the Forerunners were. We're getting the Flood and why the Halo ring even exists in the first place. We get 343 Guilty Spark, the Arbiter. We get some great sword fighting with the energy sword. There's a lot of stuff to really, really unpack and enjoy with this season. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. And I can see where people might be a diehard Halo fan and be like, look, it's just not the games. I don't like it. And that's fine. You have the video games. You can go back, you can play, and you can enjoy that. You have the books, you have comics. There's plenty of different ways to experience Halo. But I found joy in it sitting down on the couch with my wife, watching every episode, because she watched all of season 1 with me and season 2, and having her be introduced into my world, because she'll never sit down and play the video games. She'll never sit down and read the books or the comic books. But for her to kind of understand why Halo means so much to me, I think that's a great thing, because now more people that aren't tuned into the video games and stuff, they now got a way into the history of Halo, and she gets to see why I was freaking out when the Flood showed up and 343 Guilty Spark shows up, because she sees like my reaction, and she knows like it's something big because it's the way I'm reacting to it. So I really enjoyed this season a lot. I'm actually sad that it ended already. I'm really hoping, I'm praying that we get a season 3. I'm not usually one that's like, man, season 3. No, I want a season 3 of this one. I don't know how well it is doing for Paramount Plus. I heard it's like one of their top shows, but I really would like a season 3 of Halo, at least because now we're on the Halo ring. There's so many different things going on. The Flood has been unleashed. I want to see what's going to happen with the rest of the series, and if they don't, season 2 ends on a high note. Season 2 ends on a high note, but I would really like it if Paramount at least greenlights a season 3, because I think we're just now getting to what a lot of the hardcore fans want with Chief on Halo and what's going to happen, and let's just uncover what's going on with the Forerunner technology and the history of the Halo and all that stuff. Took 2 seasons of a show called Halo to get to the Halo, but we're on the Halo. But it was actually a really good season this year. I enjoyed it a lot. There was a lot of stuff to like about it. I think they can still go through and kind of like cut some of the loose fat on some of these side character quests and whatnot, these side stories. But other than that, I thought the overall story was actually pretty good, and I enjoyed the action scenes. I thought the action scenes were really done very, very well, and there was a lot more Halo lore this season for sure. So overall, guys, that's my thoughts on Halo Season 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you subscribed, that's fine, but if you're new and you stuck around this long, just hit the like button. That means more to me than anything. So thank you guys so much for everything. Y'all have a great day. Until next time, as always, I am Robert Storms, and that's my opinion. Later.